This is my cherry beat of Campanella 2 on UFO 50. I had a lot of trouble beating this, so I thought it might be helpful to others to have a little bit of a walkthrough. You'll notice right here, I'm leaving a bunch of those stars behind. That's very important. When you start off a level, you don't want to grab a bunch of stars right off the bat. I am going to get a few of them, but stars also refuel your ship, as you probably know. And as you almost certainly know, you have to get 10 stars to complete the level. Once you get the 10th star, all of the rooms beside the exit door are locked off. So what this means is, while you're flying around and needing to refuel from time to time, if you've picked up a bunch of stars right off the bat, then as you are necessarily refueling, you are getting closer and closer to closing off any doors that you haven't gone through. So I want to save the opportunity. I don't want to get locked out of doors unnecessarily. That being said, I did pick up a few of those stars because, if there are a bunch in one spot, that kind of generally means there are going to be fewer elsewhere. So I don't want to leave all of them. I'm going to grab a couple of them. I think I got 3 this time. And then save the others for while you're exploring so you don't close off those doors too early. Also, quick note, I just picked up the coin up power up from that first room. You always want to get that one. That one is very important. It gives you more coins throughout the entire rest of the playthrough. I think it gives you 1 extra coin for every coin I think every time you get any number of coins, it adds 1 coin to that. So a lot of the time, it doubles the coins you get. But that one, for instance, that little brick right there, which, by the way, those brighter bricks, as you can see, you can destroy for coins. I think those typically give you 2. And so with the coin power up, they give you 3. So it doesn't always double it, but a lot of times, like for these little things, when those give you coins, it does double it. Most things that you get coins from give you 1. So now you'll get 2 from each. So it gets close to doubling your total coin count for a playthrough, which is huge. Always get that power up. On these little side-scrolling levels, you want to make forward progress as much as you can, but you don't have to rush it. There is a big monster that comes and chases you if you take long enough, but he's pretty slow. If you just keep general forward progress, you're perfectly safe to stop from time to time. But you just don't want to sit still for too long. In this case, you notice I do grab maybe too many stars, but I did grab a bunch of stars right off the bat down there because I didn't want to be in a spot where I had to go all the way back down there and then use a bunch of fuel getting back up to the top of the level later on. I'll talk about this in 1 second, but I got very lucky. As you can see on this level, 4 doors and the exit all right next to each other. I'm going to get the max health power up there because there's no reason not to. So I got an incredible stroke of luck here. What I was saying a minute ago, if you're not familiar with the cherry beat requirements for this game, that room that I was in a second ago with the blue guy that I got a scroll from, those are called sages. And to get the cherry beat for this game, you have to visit every sage and get their scroll. Each sage also tells you what the next place you have to go to is. So he told me to go to the rink, see the sage of the rink. That means when I choose the next level, I have to go to the rink. If you go to the Moire Woods, I think is the other one on this part of the game. If I were to go there, then there would not be a sage there, and I would not be able to get the cherry beat. I am doubling up on max health up because there just wasn't really another option that I needed at this time. And notice I'm leaving some of those stars behind so that I can go, since they'll turn into 25 gold pieces later. I like to keep as many of those by the exit door as I can, and I saw that the exit was right there. So that way, once I fly around and get a few more stars, then I can go back and pick up a ton of money before I hit the exit. This little thing I'm doing as I'm falling and attacking real fast, that makes you fall a little bit slower. So it's a good way to conserve fuel. And now I've got my 10th star, and I'm heading back towards the door. But first, I'm going to get all these coins. I'm going to take 1 hit on accident. That was a little bit sloppy that I got so close to that guy without being more careful. And I also, as you can see, I'm burning coins now. When you run out of fuel, you use coins as fuel, and I got a little bit overzealous on the coins and wasn't watching my fuel close enough this time. That was a mistake. Always conserve fuel over coins. Luckily, in this case, it turned out to be okay. But I should have skipped maybe the lowest coin there. Also, when you're on those little levels, it's best to start high if you can. And kind of explore whatever's up high and then kind of fall down low and start exploring down low. You know, stop if you see something that you need to get, but just generally speaking, that's best. You use less fuel that way. If you start off going straight to the top and then kind of gradually go down as opposed to constantly going up and down, you use a lot of fuel that way. For these little bombs, they are a little bit annoying. Just hold down, shoot, and just hit them as much as you can. Also, just get as close to this guy as you can once you get up to him. If you're right in front of him, like right in front of his face, when he shoots those little bombs out, they go over you. So just get as close to him as you can. You'll shoot him really fast, and he shoots the bombs over you. That's the safest spot, and it's the fastest way to kill him. So we've gotten one step closer to freeing Pilot, and we're off to the rink now, because once again, that's where the previous sage told me to go. By the way, the sages are always on the second half of the level, if you didn't know that. So I'm leaving all those stars down there. I see this guy. These are worth, those big guys give you a lot of coins. So I'm going to go straight, and they're pretty easy to kill. See, look at all that. If you don't feel comfortable getting that close to monsters and stuff. Okay, so first off, right here, I do that little hop. I was actually testing whether you can do a midair turn to see if I wanted to risk going for that 1 star down there at the bottom of the ladder. And I saw that you couldn't, because I couldn't remember if you could do a midair turn in the jumps on this, part of a stage, but you cannot. So I skipped it. I probably shouldn't have even thought about it anyways. That would be a little bit risky since it's an automatic death if I were to fall. These little bad guys also appear on Star Wasper, and they are very dangerous here. So, those barrels, you can be as close to them as you want when they explode. Their explosion damage does not damage you. As you may know, another thing about those barrels is if a bad guy gets caught in their explosion, they automatically give you coins for each bad guy caught in the explosion as well. So it's best to try to time those out to where you're killing bad guys with it. If not, don't stress about it. And I'm going to go ahead and get the actual health this time. I think it's bubblegum. Because I've already gotten 2 max power-ups, and I had lost 4 health. When I have 4 empty health bars, I typically will go, even though the health pickup gives you 5 health, I'll typically go ahead and take it if I have 4 empty. Because that's getting a little bit too risky for my tastes. On this spot, I'm going to pick up that second power-up, the shot for the UFO. It's very, very good. I'm kind of taking a second to really make sure I'm considering everything, but that is definitely the way to go. That's very powerful. Feels getting a little bit low, so I'm going to pick up those stars, trying to get a little bit of money. While there's not much going on, another kind of random thing I'll note is if you ever enter one of those rooms that has it's a one room and it has kind of multiple little levels you can sit on or stand on rather. And, after a couple seconds, there's a bunch of kind of worm bad guys that spawn and start flying around. If you beat that room, if you clear that room without dying, you get 150 gold, which is nice. But in my experience, it is not worth the risk because those little wormy guys are so, what's the word I'm looking for? You cannot, they're so unpredictable that it's very easy to take damage from them. So if you ever find yourself in one of those rooms, you can exit through the door you came in. Just hit up immediately if you notice you're in that room and just get out because it's not worth the 150 gold to try to kill these guys because you're almost certainly going to take at least a few points of damage. These little guys that shoot the stones out of their mouths are a little bit annoying. They don't seem too bad, but it's a little bit hard sometimes to dodge them accurately because you're on this slidey ice surface. So you kind of either have to get really close to where they're shooting over you or just stay back and just be very safe. Watch, I'm going to try to time this. I didn't time that great, but I timed it okay. So I got, I think, 1 or 2 of these little slimes in the explosion on that barrel. Got a bunch of coins for it. That was it's very welcome to get so many coins just from 1 barrel explosion. Thankfully, these levels give you fuel at the end, because I've been a little bit low on fuel this whole run. Those little, whenever there's a door, you'll notice one of the tiles next to it has a little, to the left of it, see, it's got kind of like, it looks like a metal little brick. I don't think that's supposed to be metal, but whatever it is, you can land on those a little bit rougher than you can land on normal tiles and not take damage. That's what those mean. It took me a while to figure that out. Now, all right, here's something funny. Here's a key door, and I have a key. If you look at the right above my health, you see I do have a key, and if you remember earlier, I picked up a key. But I was looking at the wrong spot on my screen. Okay, real quick. Always take that power up when you can. The one that gives you the little green glob over a skull. That gives you fuel for killing bad guys. That is an extremely powerful power-up, because that gives you the ability to kind of indefinitely fly around and kill bad guys. You get more gold that way, and it's safer because you don't have to rely only on stars for health, for fuel rather. So you're getting more fuel and you're getting more gold. It is a no-brainer to take that unless you absolutely have to get health or something. I have had runs where I beat the final boss but didn't have enough fuel to get through the escape sequence. So I will always take this to keep from being low on fuel in a playthrough whenever I can. I only need 2 stars yet, so I'm skipping a bunch of these. I can't remember right now. Yeah, okay, we're on the second half of the level, and I haven't found the sage yet, so that's why. So you have to be very careful about that. Aside from getting the last star, I try not to get the last 2 stars until I've found the sage. Okay, so this one's telling me to go to the temple grounds. Because sometimes you'll come across a door and it's maybe the sage door, but you don't really have a way of knowing either way. But sometimes it has a star on each side of it. And so if you only have 1 star left, then that means you have to fly through one of them to get it, and flying through it automatically closes that door off, and you're screwed. Those little yellow things that you can fly through once you trigger the exit of a level, they're little dotted lines, and when you fly through them, they kind of spin around. Those things give you fuel. That was another thing that I didn't realize for a while until I kind of paid attention. These little skulls are pretty easy to deal with. They're not too hard to dodge. That was a mistake. But I will always kill them just so that if I do find myself in a situation where I have to kind of like stand back and wait on something else to go by or hang around, it's just one less thing I have to worry about. Those shots that they fire, I just don't have to worry about them. So, and the same thing with those little mines. Even though they're easy to avoid, if they're easy to kill, I will go ahead and just kill them just in case, because it's one less thing I have to worry about if things go wrong. There's another little mistake here. So this was not a great level for me. Gonna shoot down some of those bombs, get as close to him as I can, but he goes down pretty fast anyway. Generally, not something you have to worry about. The getting past the bombs is kind of the hardest part of these little boss guys. All right, so we finished the rink now, and we're going to go on to the temple grounds. What I was going to say a minute ago, if you don't feel comfortable getting so close to bad guys to kill them, because the UFO is difficult, is challenging, I'll say, to control. If you don't feel comfortable getting close to bad guys, especially big bad guys, like I was doing earlier to get a bunch of coins from that one, play Campanella 1 and or the Big Bell Race to get some practice. Those are great games to practice controlling the UFO. You will feel much better, much more confident about your ability to simply just control the UFO if you've played through at least just one of those games. And then getting close to bad guys so that you can do melee damage really does not become much of an issue, except for some of the faster ones. I beat both of those games before I even tried this one. So that was hard. That was a hard decision right there. I would have liked to get the max fuel power up, but my health was pretty low, and I have the one that gives me fuel from killing bad guys. So in that situation, I'm going to take the health because my health is already so low. And fuel is not as much of an issue. The nice thing about the Temple Grounds level, even though it has all these fake doors, is they all have a potential to get coins out of them. So I don't hate them too bad. Here's another one. Got a few coins. It's actually kind of nice. If those little eye things latch onto you, you just got to get away from them as fast as you can. They don't do damage instantly, but if they catch you in their little tractor beam thing for too long, then they do damage you. I don't know why I didn't take that ladder to go up into those two doors. I'm not sure. That was probably just kind of a minor mistake on my part. I don't think there was an actual reason for that. As you probably know, you take one-hit kills when you are out of your UFO on the UFO part of the stage, so be very careful. Oh, and another thing, when you're exiting doors and going back to your UFO, don't hold down, like, give yourself about a second before you hit any button. Because what I've done before is come out of doors and I see the UFO, and my instinct is to press the direction that I want the UFO to go. But my guy, but you know, you're not controlling the UFO yet, you're controlling your guy. And my guy has been on the opposite end of a platform or whatever, and I've accidentally just ran off the edge and died. Maybe that's just a me thing. It's kind of a silly mistake to make, but just to be safe, whenever I exit a door, I give myself a second to just wait, you know, gather my whereabouts, kind of take note of my surroundings, and then start doing things. Don't be, you know, unless there's guys coming right at you that are about to kill you, don't worry about acting super fast when you're coming out of a door. I've done that multiple times. Of course, as you can see, I had to pause here for a second. It's probably just answering a phone call or taking a sip of root beer or something. But I think this is just, I think we just have another couple seconds. I don't think this is a long pause. There we go. Okay. So, on any of these side-scrolling levels, don't kill anything don't kill anything that doesn't pose a threat. So like I talked about earlier, those little skulls, I was killing those even though they were not that dangerous because they could potentially pose a threat, and that's true. But like a lot of these bugs, especially when they're down below and I'm up above, I'm just those down there, I'm not even going to worry about those. Of course, these I have to, but the rest of them I'm just going to, you know, by the time they decide to randomly fly to the top of the screen, here's another pause. By the time they randomly decide to fly to the top of the screen, they are going to, I'm going to be like way past them anyways. Let's skip ahead a little bit. There we go. Okay. So we're on the second half of Temple Grounds. So we're on Temple Grounds 2 now. So that means we have to find a sage before we try progressing. No big deal. We're just going to play it safe. And we get another one of these levels. And I think kind of, you know, I've talked about the kind of the balance of keeping forward progress as much as you can, but don't rush. And just about any time I take damage in one of these levels, it's because I was rushing. So again, just be aware of that. This seemed like a really short one. Here, yeah, I'm just going to take the straight health again. I'm not too worried about... I could have taken that other UFO attack power-up that does the little, like, diagonal beams that bounce around, but that one's not that great. You know, it's fine. It's perfectly good to have an extra thing that you're shooting. That's great, but I'm kind of almost done with the game. I just have one more level to go. after this. So I'm not so worried about that. And at the same time, I am a little bit worried about maybe taking too much damage, especially maybe on the final boss or something like that, or on one of these side-scrolling levels. So I just played it safe and took the health. I was more, let's put it this way, I was more concerned about taking damage in side-scrolling mode than in UFO mode. Luckily, we got some fuel there. Kind of needed that. Yeah, so the reason I walked to the edge there is just to scout, just to see what's over there. Anytime you can kind of walk around safely on one of these parts of a level, do it, because you're saving fuel and you're just checking stuff out. Maybe I would have found a door, maybe not. On the temple grounds, you see that guy. That was a red star. See this red star in the middle? Yeah. Watch out for those. Those are fake. Those are bad guys. So I'm flying around looking for the sage now. I think this is it. Yes, here's the sage. And he's going to tell me to see the Sage of Campanella, which is on this last level. The last level is Campanella. You don't have any options. So that's what we're going to do. First, we're going to grab this star and check out this shop. And we're going to take the three-way shot here. Another good power-up to have is it looks like the icon looks like a shot going with a coin over it. If you're not familiar with that, what that does is, so you can hold it for rapid fire still, but every time you like manually press the button, every individual time you press the shot button, it does a shot that I want to say is like 3 times more powerful or something like that, and I think it costs 1 coin. It's very good to have. But not 100% necessary, and it's kind of like equally good as the three-way shot, in my opinion. In fact, if I could only choose one, I might just go with the three-way shot, because the three-way shot makes the side-scrolling levels a lot safer. You can kill stuff that's kind of a little bit above you, a little bit below you. I just really like it. Of course, if you can get both of them, that's a great combo. But that's not always an option, as this run demonstrates. I can't remember if I finished talking about the key earlier. So I thought that I had forgotten the key, which is why I didn't go in that room earlier, that key room earlier. I was flying there and I was looking at the wrong spot I was looking at my normal power-ups and I didn't see the key icon there, and I was like, oh, I guess I forgot to get the key. And so I didn't even try. I forgot that the key is on the very top left of the screen when you have it. So I never ended up getting a key room this whole playthrough period. So that's another thing that kind of shows you the keys are good. They will help you out for sure, but they're not necessary to get a cherry beat. So we freed Pilot. Now we're going to try to I don't know, save the world. I don't even know what the what the boss's kind of like what his goal is, but we freed Pilot. Now we're gonna try to actually get the cherry beat and kill the final boss. This level's a little bit trickier because of these guys flying around. I got very lucky right there because of these guys flying around. But they're not that bad. Again, if you have trouble, if you don't feel great about piloting the UFO, practice in Campanella 1, practice in the Big Bella race, and you will feel very comfortable with it. This is very good to see. We get the armor. We've got enough money for it thanks to picking up that the extra coin power up early on. And we were able to get 10 stars pretty quickly on this level. And I'm not worried about finding all the rooms at this point. That's why I went ahead and just grabbed all the stars. Because first off, this is the first half of this level. I know the Sage isn't here. Second off, I've already got a bunch of power-ups. I know I'm basically set to kill the final boss if I'm able to get to him. So I don't want to risk losing health by flying around and just, maybe finding another power-up. Because I don't really need any more power-ups right now. And I risk taking damage if I do any more exploration than I have to. On this level, you have to be careful with these little electric things that fly across. These little reddish things that look like pipes are kind of like a little electrical wires, and you just gotta be aware of the little electric balls going across those from time to time. I didn't really realize that the first time I played, and I think it killed me when I got to this level. So there are some doors right here. I am going to take, I mentioned they're not necessary, but if I see one, I'm definitely going to go for it. So here, the ring is good, but, and I almost am full on fuel, but I'm still going to take that fuel power up because I was scarred because I think it was the run right before this was the one I was talking about where I got to the final boss, killed him, but then there's the escape sequence. I had no fuel and like 100 coins, and I tried flying up to go through the escape sequence, and then I just crashed and died. It was very demoralizing. Okay, so we found the final sage. He says, "Trace face true evil." We're going to make sure to go. Don't back out. Make sure you go in the second stairway, and then this is the very end of the game. I'm feeling great because my health is almost all the way full. I've got the 3-way shot. I've got the armor. I've basically got full fuel. At this point, you know, I'm not counting my chickens before they hatch, so to speak, but I am very confident that this is going to be the run. Just get right under him and just shoot up. Especially if you got the 3-way, especially if you've got that coin shot that I was talking about. Do watch out for that. Usually he shoots those little bubbles earlier in the sequence, so maybe be a little off center so those don't hit you, especially if you don't have armor or if your health is low or something. Maybe be a little bit more defensive than I was, but as you can see, he dies pretty quickly if you've got any sort of power up to your shot, basically. And now you got to do the escape sequence. Don't jump down because you'll die. Make sure you climb down. This is where I died earlier, the previous run, but I got plenty of fuel this time, and there are plenty of these yellow rings to fly through. Once you get, you know, to one of those rings, you're if you can get to one of them, you're basically, I think, safe for the rest of this level. Just keep going this way. Don't let that guy hit you. I think he does. Yeah, I had to like. I don't even know if you can't hit him. If me striking him just then, I don't know if that did anything. But had one little mishap, but it's fine. You don't have to do it perfect. You know, actually, I take it. Is that a bad guy or is that? I just realized that's probably Pilot exiting with you, isn't it? Yeah, that was Pilot. That's both of you escape. I always thought he was that was another UFO trying to get you before you escape. But no, that's Pilot. So don't try hitting him. That's mean. We killed the Dark Lord of Time. The dinosaur driving a tank is the Dark Lord of Time. Anyway, this is my cherry beat of Campanella 2. I hope it was helpful. As I said, this was a very difficult one for me. It took me much longer. Based on the first time I played this and kind of got a hang for, okay, this is what this game is. It took me much longer than I expected to actually get this cherry beat. It's a very tough one. So if it's taking you a long time, don't feel bad. This is one of the harder ones. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I'll answer anything. Ask in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and good luck.